Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
False alarm. More than a dozen police cars respond to a report at a medical facility in Cary. What we're learning about that call.
Also, Durham police investigating a shooting at an apartment complex this morning. What we're learning from neighbors about the violence in that area.
And gorgeous weather. It's going to be such a pretty start to the State Fair when gates open at noon. Temperatures will be in the mid-60s, but I'm still watching a chance for some rain late on Sunday.
Opening day, the State Fair gets started in just a few hours. What you need to know if you're heading to the fairgrounds for all the fun. And of course, it sounds like we have perfect weather if you are heading out that way. Exciting for opening day. Thanks for joining us. I'm Destiny Patterson.
And I'm Ken Smith. This is always a very exciting time around here. So let's get back to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center tracking our State Fair forecast.
And I'm loving this camera. This is a new camera that we'll have all through the State Fair. It's actually very close to our booth, right beside the Dorton Arena, looking across the kiddie rides. Our temperatures are feeling great this morning, nice and cool. And we have some real pretty weather in the forecast until we get to Sunday night. Beautiful all around the viewing area. This is a live look at downtown Raleigh where it's 53 and our dew point sitting at 48, which is nice and dry. So no humidity to worry about in the next several days. Our chilly spot, 45 in Roxborough, but elsewhere temperatures are in the low to mid 50s. We'll hit mid 60s at lunchtime and top out at around 70 this afternoon. Temperatures will be chilly tomorrow morning. Some of the coldest air we've seen so far this season. I'll show you who could see some 30s, Ken.
What's been happening now? We've got a handful of trouble spots on our major routes, but I want to start in Durham and give you a look at what's happening on I-885, those northbound lanes. There's a crash right there at the TW Alexander exit, causing a 19-minute delay, 14 minutes if you're coming south on I-885 this morning. So if you're in I-40 eastbound this morning, you're trying to get to Durham, your best bet will be to take Highway 55. If you're heading west, trying to get to Durham as well, your best bet will be to take South Miami Boulevard as an alternate route. Checking out I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road, we still have reports of Raleigh police working a crash on I-40 westbound near Gorman Street exit. That's adding to the usual morning congestion that we're seeing right now. You're looking at an 11-minute delay on that southern loop of the Beltline. You're coming in from Garner, Johnston County. No delays between Highway 36 and the Beltline. As for other routes coming into the capital city, if you're coming in from Apex, you're looking at a 6-minute delay. Fins in Nightdale, you've got an 8-minute delay coming in on I-87. And coming in from Wake Forest this morning, you're looking at a 7-minute delay. You're getting ready to head into the car. We'll keep you updated with your morning commute. 101.5 HD3.
Thanks, Ken. We have breaking news out of Cary. Police say a report of shots fired at a medical center was false. More than a dozen officers responded to Kildare Park Drive just before 7 a.m. You can see Sky 5 flew over while they were on the scene. You can see more than a dozen police cruisers on that scene. Officers cleared the building and found that there had been no shooting. Investigators are now working to learn where that call came from. Over in Durham, police are investigating a shooting this morning at the Oxford Manor Apartments. WRAL's Ali Caldabar talked with neighbors who say they're fed up, Ali, after at least the 5th shooting there in recent months.
Destiny, when I spoke to neighbors at that scene about 5 hours ago, they told me this is something they're used to, being woken up by gunfire. This is the 5th shooting at that apartment complex since the start of 2025. We know that 2 children, 3 juveniles, and 2 men have been shot there. This morning, another shooting. Take a look at this video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. You can see officers investigating that window, at least a half dozen bullet holes in that window. We also saw evidence markers outside of that apartment unit. Now, officers got there around 1 a.m. and on Broadcastify radio traffic, we heard officers talking about a woman that was shot in the leg. We are working to confirm this. We're going to keep you updated. Reporting live in Durham, Ali Kathabar, WRAL News.
Thanks, Ali. And now city and county leaders in Durham are expected to talk about crime today. Mayor Leonardo Williams says that they plan to talk about bringing in more partners to address crime. East Durham residents have shared concerns with WRAL recently. They say they've experienced as many as 7 shootings in the last 7 weeks. Last week, they went before the city council and played audio recordings of gunfire in the neighborhood. And new this morning, a person is out of their home after a fire in Cary. The WRAL breaking news tracker was there as dozens of firefighters responded to a home on Schatz Court in the Stonehaven neighborhood. That was around 3 a.m. The fire department says crews were able to contain that fire to the basement. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Investigators are working to find the cause of that fire. 3 people are hurt after an early morning crash in Garner. The WRAL breaking news tracker was also on that scene on US 70 near Benson Road just after 1 a.m. Police tell us a car crashed into a guardrail in a construction zone. The car had quite a bit of damage to the front end, and we're still trying to find out how badly the people in the car were hurt.
Today is Fair Day. We're just a little over 3 hours away from the gates opening at the State Fairgrounds. WRAL's Monica Casey breaks down one of the big things people are going to be dealing with today: traffic.
It's an exciting day here at the North Carolina State Fairgrounds, but all eyes are on the roads around this area after major traffic issues earlier this week. When it comes to the fair itself, the director tells us they can handle huge numbers because this event has turnover throughout the day rather than a concert where everyone is trying to get there at the same time. However, Billie Eilish now has a 2-day event at the Lenovo Center tonight and tomorrow, and that's causing some concerns.
When a second large event is in the area, sharing the roads, sharing the parking, it certainly impacts the experience for everyone's customers.
On Tuesday night, people who tried to get into Chris Brown's concert at Carter Finley never made it, and traffic for events could get even heavier in years to come because of planned expansion around the Lenovo Center. Fair officials say this will be a better experience for you if you plan ahead, including maybe trying to come here on a weekday rather than a weekend. Reporting in Raleigh, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
And this reminder, today is Wolfpack Day at the State Fair. NC State students get in for just $8. All you need is your student ID at the gate. Of course, we want you to visit WRAL and your WRAL family when you're at the State Fair. We are in our usual spot right next to Dorton Arena. Dan Haggerty and Ashley Rowe will get things started this afternoon at 2 o'clock. You'll find a comprehensive guide to the State Fair on our website. Just go to WRAL.com.
The Wake County Fire Marshal is investigating a fire at an empty house with a complex history. This is what Sky 5 captured over the scene yesterday on Banks Road. The homeowner is listed as 43-year-old Aaron Duell. He's currently in jail on several charges, including possession of a weapon of mass destruction. Neighbors tell WRAL several people live in what they call an encampment behind the property. Now, due to the history with law enforcement at the home, dispatch warned firefighters to be careful.
And to tell you the whole thing, I got a 2-story residential structure. It's going to be a working fire.
Please stage for safety. We do have a pet hazard here. The person who lives here is known to be violent, and this is also known as a drug house.
The Wake County Fire Marshal stayed on that scene for about 6 hours. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
All right, we're entering day 16 of a government shutdown with no apparent end in sight as we take a live look at the Capitol this morning. And the Treasury Secretary is now saying the impacts are being felt in the economy, costing the U.S. about $15 billion per week. Another attempt at passing a stopgap spending bill failed in the U.S. Senate last night. 3 Democrats joined Republicans in supporting that bill, though, but it was not enough to reach the 60-vote threshold. Some lawmakers say this is shaping up to be the longest shutdown in history.
As that government shutdown stretches on, another round of nationwide protests are set for this weekend. That includes several in our area. Back in June, more than 5 million people across the country participated in No Kings demonstrations. This Saturday, more than 1,300 protests are planned. The group says this will be a nonviolent day of action to, quote, defend democratic norms and reject authoritarianism. About 15 demonstrations are planned for our area, and you can find that list on WRAL.com.
Former Vice President Kamala Harris made a stop in the Triangle as part of her nationwide book tour. She was at the DPAC last night. The former vice president spoke about her new book during the event. It dives deeper into her run for president last year.
Happening today, the UNC Board of Governors will talk about how to help UNC Asheville after Helene. The board is expected to discuss $2.5 million in aid for the university. Part of that money would go towards fixing damages from Helene, as well as preparing for future disasters. That meeting is set for later this morning in Raleigh.
Top now 8:10, searching for a suspect. Durham police are looking for the person responsible for shooting at a bus stop that killed a man. The tragedy just 2 months after the victim's brother was killed in another shooting.
Stealing electricity. A Wake County man is accused of stealing more than $500,000 worth of power. The scheme, investigators say he plotted against Duke Energy.
Big dip tonight. We'll see 30s and low 40s, some of the coolest air so far this season. I'll show you how long this will last. Now. 8:13, and it's a nice, crisp, cool start this morning. 53 in Durham and Raleigh, 55 in Fayetteville. Of course, Raleigh here overlooking the NC State Fairgrounds. That fair opens, of course, at noon today, and temperatures will be nice, mid-60s at noon. If you're going to be out and about at lunchtime, it may be a little bit cool to sit outside. If you can sit in the sunshine, you may be fine. Or even better, take a walk around if you can during lunch hour. Head out to the State Fair. They have a special deal where you can get in for free if you're just there at lunchtime. Exercise, feeling great for that, certainly with our temperatures in the 50s right now. We'll hit 70 for the high, and then we dip back into the 60s by the time folks are headed home from work. Still looking at a chance of some rain overnight on Sunday. I'll let you know whether or not that could affect your plans coming up. Ken?
And at 8:14, Elizabeth, speaking of the State Fair, all morning long, I'll be keeping an eye on how the traffic is shaping up around the State Fairgrounds. This is Hillsborough Street right there, Blue Ridge, and we'll let you know what to expect if you're trying to get an early start to the fairgrounds this morning. Hey, let's take a look at that northern loop of the Beltline. This I-440 and New Bern Avenue. You can see some usual morning congestion we see this time of the morning, this northern loop of the Beltline. And really and truly, you're looking at a 10-minute delay between the I-87 440 interchange all the way over to Wade Avenue. The real jam up is between New Bern Avenue and Capitol, and then it sort of eases up after you pass Capitol Boulevard. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Thanks, Ken. As Durham City and County officials prepare to talk about crime today, police are looking for a suspect in another deadly shooting. This is video from that scene. It happened yesterday at a bus stop on North Miami Boulevard. The victim was identified as Abdul Jalil Burnett. We spoke with his family, and they told us they just buried his brother, who was shot and killed in August.
Ain't nothing we can do. Ain't nothing we can bring him back. I wish I could bring both of them back. I can't. Okay. It's a hard thing to go through.
Durham police arrested a 17-year-old in that August shooting. As many as 1 in 5 pregnancies in the U.S. end in miscarriage. October is a time to recognize those personal, painful losses as Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. The nonprofit Postpartum Support International wants to let women going through losses know they're not alone. It recognizes the grief and depression that can come after losing a pregnancy. The group offers free counseling and support groups nationwide.
You are not alone. There's as a mom who has suffered 3 losses myself. I remember feeling like I didn't have the space or the right to grieve. I didn't know who to talk to because most people don't talk about this issue. There are resources there that we have trained counselors that are able to talk with you.
You can get access to their services by going to postpartum.net and click Get Help.
Investigators in Tennessee are making progress as they comb through the rubble from a deadly explosion last week. 14 of the 16 people killed at a munitions plant have now been identified. Investigators are still trying to figure out exactly what caused that blast. They say they'll leave no stone unturned in their effort to get closure for the families.
Any inclination that we have of something that may be evidentiary is being put where it needs to be put. It's being looked at. Anything that we feel, any stitch of information, any inclination that there's information, we're tracking it. We're putting people on it.
Authorities say it may take months to recover all the evidence from that blast site.
A federal grand jury indicted this man accused of causing one of the deadliest wildfires in California's history. Prosecutors say Jonathan Rindernet started the Palisades fire earlier this year. It swept through parts of Southern California back in January. 12 people died and more than 23,000 acres burned.
A man is behind bars in Wake County accused of stealing nearly $500,000 worth of electricity from Duke Energy. Police say Raphael Williams is also accused of stealing names and credit card information and supplying power to multiple different addresses. Williams will remain in jail on a $2 million bond. He asked for a reduced bond, saying he's in college. The judge denied that request.
A small fraction of SNAP benefits arrived late for some North Carolina families in the past few years. That's according to a new state audit. About 92% of the state's benefits were paid on time between 2021 and 2024, just short of federal standards. The dollar amount of the late payments, about $83 million in all, is a fraction of the total spent on food stamps in the state during that period. Still, late payments are stressful for low-income families who rely on that assistance.
Transgender people on the state health plan in North Carolina will lose coverage for some treatments. Years-long court battles ended yesterday. The ruling is the state health plan does not have to pay for certain gender-affirming care. Federal courts ruled last year that the state health plan should cover treatments related to being transgender. The state appealed and lost, but this summer the U.S. Supreme Court took an opposite stance. Looking ahead, redistricting conversations will start up again next week in the state legislature. House Speaker Destin Hall says he has formed the committee to tackle this issue. Republican state lawmakers are pushing to redraw congressional voting maps before next year's midterms. This would increase the number of Republicans in the U.S. House of Representatives. This is part of a much larger effort nationwide.
All right, now you got to look at your screen. Check this out. We caught this morning's SpaceX Starlink launch from the WRAL Garner Tower Cam. You can see it there crossing your screen. It launched from Florida just before 5:30 this morning, and it could be seen going across the sky in our area about 10 minutes later. You know, they said that the weather would be favorable, so it's a good thing that they were able to take off. Here in our area, though, it's nice. It's going to continue to be nice. Perfect day to kick off the state fair.
Yeah, we had nice clear skies overnight last night and early this morning. A big thanks to meteorologist Grant Skinner, who's here with me this morning, whose idea it was to point the camera toward Gardner and catch that really cool sort of pass by as the rocket launched. It's 53 degrees right now. And yep, there's the state fairgrounds, Dorton Arena, the Ferris wheels. Look at these. And you can see 3 different Ferris wheels in this view. It looks absolutely gorgeous out there right now. And I know a lot of folks are anxious to get out there. Here's another view. This is going to be right by the Dorton Arena, right by where our tent is, and so many of us will be there this week to meet you starting later on this afternoon. Beautiful sunshine, a little bit of a breeze. You can see the flags flying a little bit. Expect a high of 70 for this afternoon. That's a little cooler than yesterday. We had a cold front move through last night. That keeps us cool on Friday at 68, and tonight brings us the coolest air that we've seen so far this season. I'll show you what that will look like coming up. But by Saturday and Sunday, we're warmer again, upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. But grab that coat or jacket tomorrow morning. 38 in Roxborough, 39 in South Hill and Rocky Mount, 41 in Southern Pines, 42 in Durham. So chilly out there everywhere. It will be a beautiful weekend, though. Georgia Tech plays at Duke. Kickoff at noon on Saturday. Lunchtime, 69. Tailgate time, temperatures will be in the 60s, and then mid-70s through the afternoon of the game. It couldn't be more perfect. And of course, we're seeing the northerly flow keeping things cool for the next couple of days. But once the front gets closer to us, it's going to help to draw up some warmth. And so Saturday and Sunday will be warmer. Sunday, we're looking at lesser and lesser chances of rain. It looks drier and drier with the newer runs of the computer models, but it also looks a little bit quicker. This is a look at one of the wetter runs, and you can see we're dry in the morning and up until around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when the rain starts to roll in, and then it's out of here by the morning commute. That's a little faster than the run yesterday. So if you're planning to be out in the evening or late afternoon, keep checking back because we'll probably adjust the timeline a little bit more. Today is Thursday, and that's all the way to Sunday. But definitely still looking at that chance of some rain on Sunday evening, Sunday night, but not a whole lot, probably a tenth to a quarter of an inch. During the daytime on Saturday and Sunday, we're nice and dry, so it's definitely not going to be a washout of a weekend, and more pretty fair weather in our forecast Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We want to stay on top of the situation that we're seeing on I-885 in the northbound lanes because of this crash near TW Alexander Drive. You're looking at a 14-minute delay if you're going into Durham this morning, and I-885 an 11-minute delay on the southbound lanes, probably onlooker delay. So if you're heading into Durham on I-40 westbound, you might want to take South Miami Boulevard. If you're coming east, trying to get to Durham, you might want to take Highway 55 as an alternate route. Here's a live look at the northern loop of the Beltline, this section of I-440 and New Bern Avenue. You can see the usual morning congestion that we really tackle this time of the morning. In terms of what you can expect, if this is part of your morning commute, you're looking at an 11-minute delay. We're really seeing the jam up between New Bern Avenue and Capitol Boulevard. Once you get past Capitol Boulevard, it's really clear sailing all the way to Wade Avenue. 101.5 HD3, that's the station to listen to when you get into your car.
Thanks, Ken. Protecting your privacy. 5 on Your Side explains the hidden cost of some grocery loyalty programs and what they could mean for your personal information. Plus, casting your vote. Early voting is underway in several towns across our viewing area. What you need to know.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio in Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Your time now is 8:26. I'm Destiny Patterson. Here's meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a beautiful view of downtown Apex behind her.
It's so pretty out there. We take a live look here of just blue skies. We're seeing this all across the viewing area. We're just clear everywhere, and it's going to be a really nice day. We had a cold front move through last night. Temperatures are a little cooler this morning than yesterday. 46 in Roxborough, 55 in Fayetteville, 56 in Goldsboro, and officially we made it down to 50 at RDU this morning. It's going to be pleasant this afternoon. We'll hit 70 right after school lets out, and then if you have kids heading to evening practices, we're going to drop it down into the low to mid 60s pretty quickly. Looking at, of course, a nice dry weekend, except for Sunday night, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, we're staying on top of that situation that we've been following all morning long there on I-885 in Durham. Right now, it's this crash right here, TW Alexander Drive, likely in the clearing phase, but you're looking at a 16-minute delay in those northbound lanes. Probably those southbound lanes at 8 minutes. It's likely onlooker delay, but if you're coming I-40 westbound, you try to get to Durham, South Miami Boulevard is a good alternate route. Your best bet for coming east on I-40, Highway 55. I'll have another update at the bottom of the hour over at Fox 50.
Thanks, Ken. Police are investigating a shooting at Oxford Manor Apartments in Durham. Video from the WRAL breaking news tracker shows investigators at that scene and bullet holes in the window. This is the 5th shooting at the apartment complex this year. And we're just hours away from the start of the North Carolina State Fair. All eyes, though, they'll be on the roads around the fairgrounds. Concerts at the Lenovo Center tonight and tomorrow will add to the heavy traffic in the area. Next on Fox 50, early voting starts today in Wake and Cumberland counties. And coming up on today, a one-on-one with Richard Gere.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
False report. Police in Cary say a shooting call to a medical center is a hoax. We'll take you out to that scene after more than a dozen police units responded.
Shooting in Durham, the 5th incident this year at Oxford Manor Apartments. New information in just the last 5 minutes from police.
And it's a gorgeous day for the start of the State Fair, which opens at noon. Temperatures will be in the mid 60s with lots of sunshine. But I am watching the chance of some rain on Sunday night. I'll let you know if that will affect your plans.
And speaking of the State Fair today, you can enjoy food, games, and a whole lot of family-friendly fun. The traffic troubles, though, you could run into on this first day, and the fair opens at noon today. So a little bit of a break there as you're heading into the State Fair, but it's going to be a beautiful first day. Thanks for staying with us here. I'm Ken Smith.
I'm Destiny Patterson. Of course, it's all about planning, right? Well, at least you don't have to plan for any problem weather, that is. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with what we're looking at.
This is a look at our camera. We do set this one up every year, but it's special for the State Fair. It's near the Dorton Arena, right by our booth where you can come by and visit us. We're going to have all of your WRAL friends there starting this afternoon. We do have clear skies right now, looking beautiful as we look over the kiddie rides. It's beautiful everywhere. We take a live look at RDU and you can see all that gorgeous sunshine. 53 is our temperature, but we did dip down to 50 officially at RDU earlier. Our dew point sitting at 48, which is nice and comfortable. No humidity to worry about. It's still 46 in Roxborough and 50 in Rocky Mount, 55 in Fayetteville. So it's a nice cool start this morning and a cooler afternoon too, at the high of around 70 degrees. We do have a bit of a warm up in the forecast by Saturday and a chance of some rain Sunday evening and Sunday night. We'll walk through the timeline for that coming up. Ken?
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're staying on top of that situation we've been following there on I-885 in Durham. And because of a crash that happened on near T.W. Alexander Drive, you're looking at a 14-minute delay going into Durham this morning. That 4-minute delay you're seeing in those southbound lanes is likely onlooker delay. So really and truly, if you're on I-40 westbound, you're trying to get to Durham this morning, your best bet would be to take South Miami Boulevard exit. If you're heading eastbound on I-40, again, you're trying to get to Durham, Highway 55 is a good alternate route for you. This is the section of the northern loop of the Beltline around I-440 and New Bern Avenue. That's the usual morning congestion that we see this time of the morning. So if this is part of your morning commute, you're looking at just a 9-minute delay between the 440, 87 interchange all the way over to Wade Avenue. Things get really jammed up between New Bern Avenue and Capitol Boulevard, but it eases up a little bit all the way to Wade Avenue. You're getting ready to head into the Cartoonist on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Breaking news, new in the last 10 minutes, Durham police say a woman was shot at the Oxford Manor Apartments. This is the 5th shooting there this year. WRAL's Ali Caldabar is at the Durham police station. Ali, you talked to neighbors about this violence that they say is common in that area.
And just within the past 10 minutes, we heard from Durham police. They confirmed that a woman has been shot. She was shot at that Oxford Manor apartment complex. Neighbors say that this is a normal thing that they witness and they hear and they're woken up to. This is, again, the 5th shooting. Now, 8 people have been shot at Oxford Manor apartments so far this year. We have 2 children, 3 juveniles, 2 men, and now a woman. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker at that scene. You can see there were at least 6 bullet holes in that window. We also saw an evidence marker outside as well. Listen to this broadcastify radio traffic of the moments that officers heard about this shooting.
I heard his mom got hit. I heard 10 to 30 gunshots.
A 40-year-old subject, female, shot in the upper thigh, conscious, alert, breathing.
Durham police also said that the woman had non-life-threatening injuries. We're working to learn more about this shooting and also hear from city and county leaders today. Reporting live in Durham, Ali Caldabar, WRAL News.
As Ali just mentioned there, we're expected to hear from city and county leaders in Durham to talk about this crime. Mayor Leonardo Williams says that they plan to talk about bringing in more partners to address crime. East Durham residents have shared concerns with WRAL recently. They say they've experienced as many as 7 shootings in the last 7 weeks. Last week, they went before the city council and played audio recordings of gunfire in the neighborhood.
3 people are hurt after an early morning crash in Garner. The WRAL breaking news tracker was on the scene on US 70 near Benson Road just after 1 o'clock this morning. Police tell us a car crashed into a guardrail in a construction zone. The car had quite a bit of damage to the front end. We're still trying to find out how badly the people in that car were hurt.
And new this morning, a house fire in Cary. Dozens of firefighters responded to a home on Schatz Court. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker just before 3 a.m. You can see smoke rising from the roof there. That fire started in the basement of the home. The homeowner was home at the time of the fire and had to leave. Fortunately, nobody was hurt, but now we're working to find out what started that fire.
Here's some breaking news that we've been following now for the last hour and a half or so. Police in Cary telling us a report of shots fired at a medical center there in Cary was false. 112 officers responded to Kildare Park Drive just before 7 o'clock this morning. As you can see, Sky 5 flying over that scene. The officers cleared the building and found there had been no shooting. Investigators are working to learn where the call came from. The gates of the State Fair opening in just a little more than 3 hours at noon. It's finally time for games, food, and prize-winning produce. Opening day comes with a lot of excitement, as you might imagine, but also some anxiety about traffic this year after issues earlier this week. Tuesday night, a lot of people had issues getting to the Chris Brown concert at Carter Finley Stadium, and now Billie Eilish has two-day concerts at the Lenovo Center today and tomorrow. We spoke with people who were stuck in that traffic earlier this week.
Yeah, so when I was at 0.3 miles, it was at, I think, 1 hour and 20 minutes. And then it kept changing and it kept going back and forth. And then I looked up and I realized it was after 10 and I was still in the parking line and people were turning around.
Well, when it comes to the fair itself, the director tells us they can handle huge numbers because the event has turnover throughout the day rather than a concert where everyone is trying to get there at the same time. And this reminder, today is Wolfpack Day at the State Fair. NC State students get in for just $8. All you have to do is show your ID at whichever gate you enter. And please visit the WRAL family while you're at the State Fair. We are in our usual spot right next to Dorton Arena. Dan Haggerty and Ashley Rowe will kick things off this afternoon at 2 o'clock. You'll find a comprehensive guide to the State Fair on our website, WRAL.com.
Today, family and friends of Trevor Merritt will gather for a public viewing. The viewing will be from 1 to 6 at Wiseman Mortuary. Merritt is one of 3 E.E. Smith High School students who died in a crash last week in Fayetteville. Police now confirm speed was a factor in that crash last Thursday night on Rose Hill Road. The driver, 21-year-old Diamond Monroe, remains in critical condition. Investigators are working to find the cause of a fire at an empty Wake County house with a complex history. This is what Sky 5 captured over the scene yesterday on Banks Road. The homeowner is listed as 43-year-old Aaron Duell. He's currently in jail on several charges, including possession of a weapon of mass destruction. Neighbors tell WRAL several people live in what they call an encampment behind the property. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
Early voting for municipal elections gets started today in Wake and Cumberland counties. Election day is Tuesday, November 4th. Early voting will continue through Saturday, November 1st. A Wake County voter shares why she believes local elections are so important.
These politicians need to know what's happening around us so that they can be able to focus on us. I know the national elections usually get all the spotlight, but it really starts back home, and people really need to understand these are the people that are making the decisions right here.
In Wake County, you can cast your ballot now at the County Board of Elections. 3 more polling places will open up for early voters Saturday, October 25th. Now, those are community centers in Garner, Apex, and Cary. In Cumberland County, the first polling place opened just a few minutes ago. You can cast your ballot at the Cumberland County Board of Elections. The Cliffdale and Kiwanis Recreation Centers will open voters at noon today.
And I'm Laura Levine here in the WRAL Live Center with major breaking economic news coming from the world's largest food company, Nestle, now announcing that it's planning to cut jobs this coming during this cost-cutting campaign. Nestle plans to cut around 6,000 jobs worldwide over the next 2 years as it works to slash cuts, including through automation. Now, another mass layoff of about 12,000 people will affect those white-collar professionals as Nestle really targets operational efficiency, including by automating processes and using shared services. The CEO says the world is changing and Nestle needs to change faster. Of course, we're going to continue to follow this here in the WRAL Live Center.
All right, today we're expecting some big news out of Garner. Town leaders expected to make an economic development announcement in less than an hour, around 9 o'clock this morning. We're working to learn more about what this announcement is all about. WRAL will be monitoring this announcement out of Garner. Tune into our afternoon newscast starting at 4 for a breakdown on how the announcement could affect your wallet.
Deadly mistakes reveal. The final report of the Titan sub disaster points to what investigators call, quote, inadequate engineering, what they say OceanGate overlooked before tragedy struck.
And loyalty program promises. They all say they will provide big savings, but just ahead, 5 on your side's Ashley Rowe shows how your data is being collected.
And a fall forecast, giving you a live look over Durham. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tells us about today's fall chill for the start of the state fair.
8:44, it's Thursday. Let's talk about the mountain and beach forecast. This is a live look at Boone, looking just as pretty there as it is here. And it's going to be a gorgeous weekend to see leaves. Now, the problem is it's likely to be a little bit wet on Sunday. So you may just want to, be up there on Saturday or maybe push it to the following weekend. I wouldn't wait any past that. The leaves are going to be really nice this weekend. Saturday looking beautiful, 81 in Asheville and 65 up on Grandfather Mountain. But a good chance at least for some scattered showers and temperatures in the 60s and 70s on Sunday. Carolina Beach looking beautiful this morning as well. It's going to be a great weekend along the coast. We do have rip current danger, moderate to high up and down parts of the coast. But temperatures on Saturday will be in the low 70s and a little warmer than that on Sunday. We'll see temperatures at that point. You don't have to worry about this, but mainly in the mid to upper 70s, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, let's take a spin around the Beltline, shall we? Starting with that southern loop of the Beltline. These are the westbound lanes moving away from us. That's the usual morning congestion. That northern loop of the Beltline, I-440 and New Bern Avenue, you can see the usual morning congestion as well. Either way, you're looking at a 6 to 8 minute delay, so keep that in mind if you're about to head out the door this morning. As for other routes heading into the capital city, really, truly not too much that's really going to make you late in many instances. We're seeing coming in from Wake Forest this morning, or even coming in from Knightdale. Maybe you're looking at a 5 to 7 minute delay at this point.
President Donald Trump is involved in plans for a new monument in the nation's capital. It'll be an arch resembling France's Arc de Triomphe. The White House says Trump personally came up with the design to commemorate the country's 250th anniversary next summer. The monument would be placed in a traffic circle near the Arlington Memorial Bridge, but it's unclear how the project will be funded or when it could be built. Federal investigators say the implosion of the Titan submersible in 2023 was caused by OceanGate's inadequate engineering process. The NTSB released its final report on the implosion yesterday. All 5 people inside were killed when the submersible imploded during a voyage to the Titanic wreckage. Now, the report says that the Titan was damaged during 2 previous dives and was still used despite that damage. The report also says that OceanGate failed to adequately test the Titan.
I want to get to some breaking news we're following right now. Cary police say someone called in a false shooting report at a medical center there in Cary. WRAL's Monica Casey just arrived at that scene at Wake Med on Kildare Park Drive. And Monica, Sky 5 flew over this large police presence.
Yeah, Ken, the police presence has mostly cleared right now, but what you just said there is the most important part. This was a false report of shots fired. We are here at the intersection of Kildare Park Drive and Kildare Farm Road. You can see traffic is moving swiftly here. All police presence has been cleared. We are told that multiple officers arrived here around 6:55 this morning and cleared that medical facility. They determined no one was harmed, no shots had been fired, and those initial reports were false. They are investigating what led up to that call and what's going on here. We will stay on it to work to get answers for you as well. Live in Cary, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
All right, so they promised discounts on gas, groceries, and a whole lot more, but at what cost? Retail loyalty programs offer tempting perks, yet often come with a hidden price, your privacy. A new Consumer Report investigation reveals one retailer pushing the limits, raising questions about how much personal information consumers are giving up and who might follow their lead. 5 News Science, Ashley Rowe explains.
For many shoppers, signing up for those loyalty programs feels like a no-brainer, but it always comes with a price.
Store chains often collect your name, home address, email address, and phone number. Then they study what's in your grocery cart. Many retailers do this, but Kroger, one of the largest grocery chains in the U.S., is doing it at a much bigger, profitable way.
A Consumer Reports investigation found Kroger collects and analyzes shopper data in highly sophisticated ways, tracking your purchases, building detailed profiles, and turning that data into profit. Kroger not only uses the information internally, it also sells it to third parties for targeted marketing and ads. In a statement to Consumer Reports, a Kroger spokesperson said demographic data can be helpful to filter our audiences so that Kroger customers are presented with relevant coupons, promotions, and other discounts or offers. Because we don't rely on demographic data that we source from data enrichment providers, we do not affirmatively correct it. Right now, 20 states have laws giving you the right to access the data companies collect about you. North Carolina is not one of them. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle want to change that. Tonight on WRAL News at 6, I speak with the state lawmaker leading the charge to change state law. Hear why he says this is something we should all be concerned about and how this would allow you to see your data. Ashley Rowe, 5 on your side.
The U.S. struck another small boat accused of carrying drugs in the Caribbean on Tuesday. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth posted this video of the strike on X. It happened just off the coast of Venezuela. 6 people who were on the boat were killed. No U.S. forces were harmed. Now, this is the 5th boat strike ordered by President Donald Trump. On Wednesday, he confirmed the CIA has been authorized to operate on the ground in Venezuela to continue attacks on accused drug traffickers. Now, there's a new way to enjoy the movie that's all the rage right now. It's time for a look at what's trending.
Yeah, Destiny, we're talking about a sing-along version of the hit movie K-pop Demon Hunters, hitting theaters just in time for Halloween. The animated film will be returning for a limited theater run from October 31st to November 3rd. Man, this is so popular among people of all ages.
That's right. And I still am a little bit behind the wave on this one, but everyone that I know is still talking about this.
They say they have some catchy tunes in that movie, and it's worth singing along to.
I know. It's literally, I heard it playing on the radio. I mean, this is far-reaching.
Well, you get to do it again on October 31st. Excellent. Hey, we want to turn our attention now to the forecast, because today is day 1 of the North Carolina State Fair, and it's a perfect opening day for the State Fair, Elizabeth.
It really is. Very fortunate. As a matter of fact, right now the State Fair is looking pretty dry, except Sunday night, and hopefully that won't be terribly impactful, but we'll talk more about that coming up. A little over 3 hours now until they open the gates, so they're going to start to pull the tarps off the rides and get ready for all the kids who are going to be out there riding those rides really soon. RDU looking beautiful and blue this morning. Gorgeous. Clear skies. 53 is our temperature now, but we dropped down to 50 earlier this morning. Our dew point's a very comfortable 48. That means that our air mass is nice and dry with no humidity. 55 in Fayetteville, 50 in Rocky Mount, 52 in Roxborough right now. Our current temperatures in the Triangle, 51 in Cary, 53 in Garner, and in Knightdale. Around town this afternoon, a little cooler than yesterday, 70 in Raleigh and Durham, and 73 in Fayetteville. We'll see lots of sunshine, and it'll be a little bit breezy. We had a front come through last night, and that has dropped our temperatures a little below normal. That's signified in those blue shaded areas. As we get closer to the weekend, we're going to see a front approaching, and that's going to begin to grab up some warmer air and push it in. We'll notice some warmer temperatures on Saturday and Sunday, but today 70, 68 for tomorrow, and 77 Saturday, 80 on Sunday. But chilly mornings. Tomorrow morning is likely to be the coolest that we've seen so far this far season. Upper 30s for Roxborough, South Hill, and Rocky Mount, 41 in Goldsboro and Southern Pines, 43 in Fayetteville, and low 40s in the Triangle too. Still chilly on Saturday morning, but temperatures will be in the mid to upper 40s. So some chilly air. That 43 for tomorrow morning will be the chilliest at RDU since April 17th. How about some rain a little bit on Sunday night? Some of that could start as early as 5 or 6 o'clock on Sunday. Of course, we need the rain. The drought status just came out just a few minutes ago, and now we're looking at moderate drought across most of our viewing area with a pocket of severe. Doesn't look like any rain in the next 7 days is going to help that at all, but do beware that there could be some if you're planning to head to the fair on Sunday evening. Otherwise, dry Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Now, before we go to break, here is a look at your winning lottery numbers. We'll get another check on weather and traffic. That's coming up next.